like Robert Greene says, instinctively.
Right.
There are some people, he says, that don't have to read the book. But for those that are not aware of the laws, reading the book is tremendous.
Right, right. And they just maybe are born this way.
Right.
They already act out some of these laws.
Right, instinctively.
So if we start with the first law, law number 1, which is never outshine the master.
Correct.
So he goes to define it, saying that if you do end up outshining your superior, he's basically saying always make those above you feel comfortably superior. In your desire to please or impress them, do not go too far in displaying your talents, or you might accomplish the opposite.
Right.
Inspire fear and insecurity. So by wanting to show that you are the best at something, or you have these, you're able to do something a certain way or have these qualities, you risk, according to this law, outshining the master. And then the master now is going to keep an eye on you and maybe inspire fear and maybe want to get rid of you. When I hear that definition, I think of like in a corporate setting. But I'm sure it applies to many things in life. And he uses examples in the times of the courts, the French kings, and how they use these laws. But what are your thoughts on that law number 1?
Yeah, I think it's spot on. Because, we all have insecurities. I don't think you're normal if you don't, okay? And we have our challenges, and, everybody's aware we're not, as human beings, we're imperfect, okay? We're always constantly trying to learn and better ourselves, period. If somebody comes along that can do the job better than you, and you're in a management position, and this person outshines you by leaps and bounds, then there is the possibility that the higher-ups, way higher-ups, may look at that particular person and say, this is a better person for the job. So the insecurities of the person just above you can kick in and say, hey, this guy is gunning for my job. Now, Robert Greene talks about being in Hollywood, and Hollywood is apparently notorious for using these laws. But like you said, I think these laws apply across the landfill. And in a corporate setting, I can see it happening a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you just have to be careful, do the best you can, and be aware of what's happening a little bit higher up, because you potentially, Robert got fired. Robert Greene got fired for doing a better job, and he was in Hollywood, and I forget what he was doing, whether it was research and he was doing exceptionally well, and then the next thing, he got fired.
Yeah.
And by doing an excellent job, you're doing an excellent job and you get fired. So it doesn't make sense, but
yeah,
this is what happens.
And it goes contrary to what I think what we're taught, maybe what it's instilled in us from education to parents, is do your best, always do your best. But Robert Greene's saying,
be careful.
Be careful, because your best might be stepping on somebody else's toes and making somebody else look bad. And so it's interesting how you're maneuvering. Now, some people may just say, I don't care, I'm just going to do my best, and, whatever the result is, so be it, right?
Right.
But I think he's talking about being able to, and I think of it in a corporate setting, because I was in a corporate setting too, with business, and you have a lot of egos. You have a lot of people that are doing big things, and you have some people that maybe are kind of getting by, and then you have some people that are almost just trying to, keep their jobs. So they don't want blame put on them, and there's a lot of games and a lot of politics in corporations, especially. There's politics in soccer and FIFA, everywhere. But it goes contrary to what... So if you're coming up and you're working in a business and a corporation, I guess it's just keeping that in mind and still just knowing how to maneuver those things.
Yeah. Yeah, Patrick Bet-David talks about it too, where there's, I remember a podcast he did or one of his analysis, and he was saying that sometimes you do the work and somebody else tries to take, the benefit of that. The credit of that, okay? And that also happens, and you need to be quite aware, you need to have like a trail that comes back to you in terms of getting credit for things. So, it's a balancing act. It's a balancing act. If you're in a situation where you are trying to climb that corporate ladder, okay, you have to have nerves of steel and have a balancing act so that you don't shove one guy the wrong way and another one the wrong way or good way or whatever. You want to be careful the battles you choose to fight in order to win the war, okay? You have to be very, very careful when you choose your team.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to rub somebody the wrong way that can be a tremendous, sizable enemy on your way up, And, there's only room for a few up above, There's one leader, and then below them, maybe two, and then below them, maybe three.
Right.
So there isn't that much room up above. So you have to be very careful how you climb it, get a good grip on that ladder and be careful. You got to have a balancing act.
Yeah.
There's no way around it.
Yeah, and the master in this law is basically anybody in a position above you in a workplace or any organization. I still think we should always do our best and let the numbers do the talking. But if there's a situation where maybe doing one thing will make you shine too much, that's where it's just being careful and knowing how to maneuver that. But I just don't see it being a justifying.
You would have an issue.
Yeah, I
would have an issue not doing
my
your
best.
Yeah, right. You would have an issue.
Yeah.
Because it's intrinsically ingrained in you to do the best you possibly can. And in the process of doing that, you are going to make somebody uncomfortable, potentially higher up.
Yeah.
Again, we all have insecurities.
Yeah.
And so, you would have an issue, and it would be a mental battle.
Yeah.
It would be something that you would have to, if you were aware of the fact that someone higher above you would potentially terminate your employment, because a lot of people are not aware of this, okay? Mm-hmm. And in fact, correct. I would say most people would not be aware. Most people would not be aware.
Right.
So, but yeah, I think try your best, but you have to keep your eyes open. You don't know where the next hit is going to come from. It may come from the left, the right, the front. You just don't know. And in the corporate world, friendship can be superficial.
Right. Yeah, it's business at the end of the day, and it's cutthroat, and it's survival of the fittest, and they could.
So the guy that reaches the top is got to be a person of many talents.
Absolutely.